Preparing to go live. Okay, we should be live now. Greetings, family. Welcome, welcome to the Sister Shanice Show. As you can see, we have the privilege of having our guest, Brother Ion, known as Irritated Genie, in the house. Welcome, welcome, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm well. I'm very well, thank you. It's a bit hot around here, but apart from that, it's all good. And you know what? I'm not complaining because if I was in the I'd probably be complaining that I'm a bit cold. So I'm glad to be in the sunshine. And whereabouts are you in the world at the moment?
I'm back in DC at the moment, so I'm back in the US, but always looking at my next adventure to the continent.
Oh, okay. And so, do you want to share with us maybe the audience, some of the audience who are watching may never have visited the continent, may not have any idea what life is like out there. Please share with the audience your experience of being on the continent.
Sure. So, I mean, I've been to different countries. People ask me a lot of times what my favorite country is that I visited, and it just depends on why I'm going and what I'm doing at the time. Of course, right now I just got back from the Burkina Faso, being in the AES, and I'm so excited about what they're doing right at this moment. Even though I don't speak French, the first time in my life I've decided I got to go learn a new language, French, because we got 80 million of our people in the AES, and that's not all of the Francophile nations in Africa. So that's just some of our people. And I want to be able to easily communicate with like 80 million of our people. So I'm gonna have to learn French. But right now, I'm really loving that experience. Uganda is a country that I've been to. Probably I've been to Uganda more than any other country, if I'm not mistaken. Probably Uganda and Zimbabwe I've been to the most. I have a love affair with Zimbabwe. So obviously I keep going back to Uganda, so I have some kind of like ancestral relationship with Uganda as well. I love West African food. Honestly, what I would say is I love my experiences on the African continent. It's not the panacea where everything is perfect, but for me, looking at the skills that we have in the West, I look at it as a good thing from the perspective we have something to contribute. You know, for those brothers and sisters who have some skills and some good business acumen, you know, you can go to the continent. You got to be cautious like anywhere you're doing business, but you can find places where they have need and you have a skill that you can provide. And there are people there with money that want to help develop. You just got to get with the right people, and you can really help Black people there. Like they'll be happy to get help, and we can build and develop. And Africa is young and vibrant right now, so it's the greatest. I think it's the greatest cultural slash economic opportunity for Africans in the West, maybe during my lifetime. I think.
Now is the time, people. Now is the time to visit Africa. If you've got skills and talents and you feel that those skills and talents are not being utilized in the West, why not think about going to Africa and seeing if you can link up with some brothers and sisters over there? And, of course, do your due diligence and, don't throw caution to the wind. You have to be professional and businesslike in the way that you operate, but see what you can do. Absolutely agree with you on that, my brother. And so you've been to Uganda a few times. Share with us, a bit about Uganda. I mean, I've never been to Uganda. I don't know if I'll ever get to go to Uganda, but so give me a picture, please, of Uganda.
Okay, so Uganda is a place. I'll tell you the things I love about Uganda. One, I it's the only place I've been where I can say there's nothing that the people in Uganda can't do. I've never been anywhere where I'm like, these people can do anything. And I'll just give you an example. I had a brother, he it was a couple of things that he needed. They were like random things that you just can't find In fact, one of the things they don't even make anymore. There's this place in Kampala. I don't even know what it's called. It's this area. Now, everybody there is black. I want you to be clear. Like Uganda's as black as you can get. You can't get blacker than Uganda. Like it's African black, okay? You don't have any question out of people they're black. They're black. So you go to this area and he wanted to get, it was some kind of electronic device, but it was from something old, but he really, it might have been an heirloom from a family, maybe I don't remember what it was, but it was some kind of electronic thing. So he goes to the guy and says, hey, do you have any of these? And the guy looks at it and goes away and comes back and say, no, this was from the 70s or something like that. They don't make these anymore. So he's about to give it, the guy was about to take it back. So then he was like, well, what can we do? He said, you want me to make you one? And I'm sitting in my mind, I'm like, what? He said, yeah, I'll make you one. Let me look. And he looked at it and he said, let me get it. Come back. It was a few days later. And when I left, I'm talking to him. I said, the guy's going to make something. He said, man, listen, you come to this place, you can have a window that's a certain shape that doesn't exist anywhere. You come tell them you need it. You show them what you need, they'll make it. Like they'll make just any random thing. I've never been to a place. I don't even know what it's called. And we came back a few days later and he had made, I don't know what he did. He made the part and we tried it in the radio the thing and it worked. And I was like, and he's like, yeah, you just go there. So like Ugandans, they don't have okay. If you get to the right space with Ugandans, there's nothing that you can talk to a Ugandan that can be done. They don't think like maybe the West has kind of captured our thinking of what we can get done. They can do I've met the most brilliant minds of any people I've ever met in Uganda. I've met people in Uganda who are like, these were kings. 1,000 years ago, this guy was a king. There's no question about it. Like, this guy ruled the nation. Like, I've met those people. So that's one thing. Another thing, anybody who's into African history. It's so many different groups. Remember, the source of the Nile is in Uganda, in Ginger. Yeah. When we heard that the armies from the south used to come up and liberate the north, when the Asiatics would come in and they would need to fight and push them back out to Asia, and they would come from the south, we always thought Sudan. But when I was down in Uganda and I found out that Idi Amin was he's Nubian. Idi Amin is Nubian. I didn't know Nubian went all the way down to Uganda. But every name of it, and look for this anytime you see a person from Uganda, I'm telling you, every single name has Ra, Ka, Ba, Sa, or Ma in it. These are Kemetic words, spirit and soul. And the leader of the Buganda, which is the main group, the largest group, not the main group, but the largest group in Uganda, the Kabaka, the spirit and soul of the spirit, the Kabaka, that's the leader. Everybody's name, every building, every organization, every company is the language. They even have a group called the Kabale. Now, we say Kabale, we hear it with an L here, but for there, the R is like an L. It's pronounced the same way. So it's really Kabara people. So it's the Kabara people, Kabara, spirit and soul of God. You know, like, but when you talk to them, they're just the Kabale people. They don't know nothing about the spirit. They don't trace it back to be in the foothills of the mountains of the moon. Like they don't connect it with Kemet because that's Asiatic, that's Arab now. But I can connect it because I've gone to Kemet and I've studied it. And I'm like, yo, this is the source.
Yeah.
Every name.
I know we've got a brother who often brings up the radio show on Galaxy FEW. He's from the Congo. And they talk there about the Baka people. And again, you know, right there next to Uganda. So from Congo, Uganda, come from the south all the way up, the original people.
When I went to South Africa and I was lecturing in Soweto, and I was at the Kreto Muta. It's an established park there. And I was speaking, and I'm sorry, it was two different things. I'm sorry. When I went to Botswana, the spiritual people that hold the culture, the cultural people of Botswana, are called the Kabatla. Bakatla.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Bakatla. It's the Bakatla. And I'm like, Bakatla. Or and that la is always like a ra. So Bakat it's just like in Uganda, the Kabare people, here is Bakatla. And that could be Kabara. So it's like this whole we were one the culture of African people,
People just
we migrated
branched off.
every different
Yeah,
direction.
to different directions. Yeah. And so right there in the heart of the source. Yeah. Wow.
For
And
people that
what's so
I just
interesting? Yeah, go ahead.
I say this one last
Mm.
piece because you got me talking. I think people will like this piece. For people who study the spirituality or the mathematics, and you look like
Yeah.
on you see a fingerprint, you know, they call it the magic circle. That whole thing that you see with this the universe and everything, that spiral that you see in
Oh,
the
yeah.
snail and the thumbs and the universe. It's some
Yes.
African spiritual construct. When you go to Uganda, you got to find the right person to open up and speak. They don't share everything with you, but when you go to the huts, the magic circle. When you go all the different places you go, if you're paying attention, even some of the communities, the way they do it in these fraggles is the magic circle. Like they build the homes and you have to stand back and be able to see this stuff. But like a lot of the spiritual, ancient, traditional understandings are in Uganda, and you
Wow.
just have to be able to find the people that can open up and share it with you. But it's phenomenal what you can see when you go.
Oh, wow. The source. That sounds like you found the source. Yeah. Wonderful. And the history is still there for us, like you said, to go and study and see. Because, we have these spiral circles all the way up here in Britain as well, uh, carved into stones in places. Yeah. And it's known that it's the ancient people who are, of course, Africans in Britain that did those carvings and those engravings, and they were symbols, it symbolized the sun. It was part of their ceremony, their what they believed in, their belief system. Look at that, coming all the way from the source, from Africa itself. So it's fascinating when you can trace, the history all the way back. So yeah, I can understand why Uganda was special for you. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. So family, everything of visiting Africa, do consider Uganda, especially if you're interested in history. I'd certainly love to reach there myself. And
One more
so
thing.
go
Can
ahead.
I say one
Yeah,
more thing? I promise. It's just one last thing.
I know it's all good. It's all good.
What I really was blown away with, and this is an honest story, I'm not making this up. Okay, when I was brought in there, the way they treat you, once you meet somebody who takes you to people's houses, everywhere you go, you're gonna eat something called matoke. It's like a sweet potato, but it's not sweet. But it looks like sweet potato. But
Oh,
they have something called G-nut soup. They put the butter G-nut like gravy on top. Oh my God. But anyway, but you're gonna eat it a lot because if you go to visit 5 families, every single one of them, and you can't insult anybody. You can't tell them you're not gonna eat their matoke. I never ate this much in my life, but a lot of it was pineapples, mangoes, but I was eating so much matoke. I ate so much, literally, I was like, I'm going to explode. I don't want to go anywhere today because I'm eating so much. But this is what's crazy. I was there 17 days. I've never eaten this much food in my life. But what started happening, by day 17, I
yeah.
looked down and my stomach had disappeared. And I was like,
Oh,
why am
wow.
I lost weight, but it was it
Strange.
was it was leaning up. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why am I getting slimmer and trimmer? Yet I'm eating
Yeah,
more than I've ever eaten. And I realized that's the first I've heard people saying it, Dr. Layla Africa. I've heard them say it. It never translated to me. We've been eating chemicals. Everything is
mm.
fresh. Pineapples, mangoes, matoke, chicken, everything that I ate, fish from the Nile. I ate a lot of it, but it was all real food. And I would lose weight.
Yeah. Mhm. Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Eating more, yet staying thinner and trimmer, and probably a lot fitter and healthier as well.
Yes, I
Wow.
would tell everybody if you have issues with your health and you want to go to a place to recover, Just make sure that you don't try to get a Western diet when you get there. They might think you want that. No, tell them you want the Ugandan diet, matoke, G-nut soup, the regular Ugandan diet. Let me tell you something. The millet that they have, the bushera is a drink. Oh my God. You do that for 2 or 3 weeks, you'll clean yourself out. You'll be back to new.
Wow. There you go, family. Need to do a health retreat there from the sounds of it. Let's just check in the chat, see who we've got joining us this evening. Thank you, Judy. Thank you. Oh, rise up. We've got Brother Kwame Aboje in the house. He's saying, when you come back home, you will definitely be spoiled, especially with your cultural food, music, etc. So Brother Aboje is agreeing with you there. When you go back home to Africa, you will be spoiled. Rise up, Queen Mother International, who we have in the house. She's saying, yes, all organic food. We've got Lynn in the house. Rise up, Cousin Lynn. My Cousin Lynn's watching all the way from Canada. You rise up, Cousin Lynn. Great to have you in the house. Queen Mother International. Yes, she knows the matoke. It's green bananas, she said. Yeah, it's green bananas cooked in banana leaves. Oh, wow. I've never tried that before. Okay, I know green bananas. You know, we eat green bananas a lot in Jamaica and wherever we can get them, whenever we can get them in the UK as well. But I've never had it cooked in banana leaves. Oh, nice. Rise up, Brother Kwame Oboje. Again, we've got RNO in the house, Reno in the house, and enough love. Thank you so much. Kwame's saying that he's going to be in Accra, Ghana next year. Oh, rise up. That sounds awesome. And who else have we got in the house? Thanks for your messages, Brother Kwame. We've got Tuka Pamoja in the house. Rise up. Sending you greetings as well, Brother Io. Rise up, Tuka Pamoja. Glad to have you in the house. So we've got the family coming through the door. Please do give us a thumbs up, give us a like while you're here. We would much appreciate that. We've got a really interesting conversation that we're going to be having with you this evening. And we've got two main topics on the table for discussion. And we'll see where that takes us. Because, you know, one of the items that we wanted to discuss with you today, are you ready for it, family? And remember, you can always put your comments in the chat as well, okay? Yeah, so one of the topics we wanted to discuss today was, let me just get that up here. There was a comment from a former US military person who goes by the name of Eric Prince, who said that African countries should be recolonized because their leaders are corrupt. Now, we all know, you know, which country in the world is the most corrupt. America, of course. But, you know, what they're really good at is pointing the finger in the opposite direction. And they're like, look at the corruption over there, not realizing that there's four fingers pointing back at them in terms of their own corruption. But anyway, this Eric Prince, who's a former US Navy officer and founder of the American private military company. So obviously he's got vested interest in the military side of things, a company called Blackwater, expressed the opinion that African countries should undergo recolonization due to their leaders' perceived corruption and selfishness. And he shared this perspective in a clip that he posted on X and by the Africa Facts Zone, suggesting that if African nations struggle with self-governance, it's time for them to be invaded once again. Let's have a discussion about that, because that is a very, very, very serious claim and suggestion indeed. And I don't think it's something that should be taken lightly. This is a former US Navy officer, also has a vested interest in the military side of things. So he's talking about invasion if necessary. And, you know, we need to know and be reminded of what's in the minds of some of these, you know, very high profile officials in America, because, you know, these are the conversations that they're obviously having among themselves. And here it is now coming out in the open. let's go over to you, my brother, for your comments on this these remarks, these very concerning remarks.
Sure. So his name offhand is drawing a blank, but there was a French former general who came out making a very similar comment. And the French general said that in the next 10 years, we're going to recolonize Africa.
Mm.
And Eric Prince says that, like you said, that it's time, him, his Blackwater, it's a paramilitary group. Basically, they were paid to go and murder people in Afghanistan, Iraq, definitely Iraq. I think Afghanistan, but definitely Iraq. And the company is paid to go and be mercenaries and to kill on behalf of governments around the world. But when we pay attention to the governments that they're fighting and killing for, it's European governments like the US killing what some in the US would perceive as enemies to the US, oftentimes people that are not Europeans. So what we're seeing now is that unlike the past, we weren't, like you talked about 1884 and 1885, the Berlin Conference, when we were talking before the show, we didn't know what was coming. We didn't know when the transatlantic slave trade, we didn't understand the direction things were headed. This is the first time in the history of the world that we have a concept, an understanding. We know what colonialism looks like and feels like. We went through it. We know what slavery is. We've gone through it. We don't intend to go through it again. So this is the first time in the history of the world that I'm aware of, particularly in the last 1,000 years, that we knew a major cataclysmic assault was coming, and they told us before they came. So on the one hand, we're talking about someone who, from what I understand, the assault that we saw that happened in Mali,
Mm-hmm.
when the Ukrainians went in and murdered Somalian soldiers and Russian soldiers. But from what we understand, and I'm not, I can't verify this, but from the people that I've talked to that would know better than myself, they said that he was involved in those killings of those Malian soldiers and Russian soldiers in Mali. So that's an attack on the AES. What I can verify now is this same guy who said his interest and objective, we can stop playing with the terms recolonize. That means slavery. We're going to re-enslave Black people. This Eric Prince has now been contracted by individuals in Haiti to go and kill the Haitian rebels, who are they referring to as gangs. Now, I do want to say, I'm not saying that they do not have a problem in Haiti that needs to be addressed, but without getting into where these problems came from and the intricacies of that, what I would say is this. When a white male whose job it is to kill for pay, so we know he kills for pay, publicly states that we're going to re-enslave Black people, and he's saying that he's going to be involved in that. He announces it publicly. That's a declaration of war against African people. He said that. I don't know if you're going to play that clip, but he said it very loudly and boldly. For any group of Black people, no matter what you have going on, to hire him to come and kill Black people on the ground in your community is an act of treason. Because again, he's already established he's not a white for hire that can help you fix the problem that you're dealing with. You can't lie and say that to us now. He's definitively self-stating his objective is to re-enslave Black people. And so you would bring an enslaver who wants to colonize, kill, and enslave and pay them to kill rebellious Black people on the ground in your region. No matter who people think you are and whose side you take, why would you go to someone who seeks to enslave Black people and is promoting that and actually involved in the process of doing it? And then you're going to help them by paying them money to come do it to your people in Haiti. It's an absolute act of treason. To this point,
Totally agree with.
to this point, at least from the reports that I've seen, there have been at least 200 people killed and others hurt from drone strikes that have been organized through Eric Prince and his group as they've been hired by individuals in Haiti. Probably at the highest level, those people probably aren't Black, but there are Black faces involved who've hired him. We talk about at least at this point 200 people are reported being unalived. I think we use that term. So this is already
when did this happen? When did this happen in Haiti?
Okay, so he got in. I mean, they start working with him, if I'm not mistaken, around March, somewhere between March and now. And from that time to now, the reports that I've gotten, they said it's over 200 people. But, you know, these reports are not official necessarily, so I'm not certain. But they're reporting it as killing gang members. But from what I'm hearing from people from Haiti, a lot of these drones are just hitting people, just people who are out there. They're not having anything to do with a gang and they're getting killed.
It's absolutely shocking. I've got a video clip from a brother in Haiti. Should I play that now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because obviously our brothers and sisters on the ground in Haiti must be extremely concerned about what's happening. And, you know, they're going to have a lot to say about it. Get ready to read the subtitles, family. I'm going to do a screen share and bring up this clip so that you can hear directly from one of our brothers on the ground in Haiti about what's going on out there. So let me know when you can see it, my brother.
I can see it.
You can see it now? Should be on the
Yes.
screen. Okay, let's go.
J'ai eu plusieurs chefs de gang qui, depuis le début de notre séjour, nous ont contactés. Nous allons rendre public d'ici quelques jours leurs propositions par rapport à l'appel que j'ai lancé. J'ai dit aux chefs de gang qu'ils devaient baisser les armes contre le peuple. Parce que les ennemis des gangs, ce n'était pas le peuple haïtien, c'était ceux qui leur donnaient les armes pour tirer sur le peuple haïtien.
So if you want to comment on that part so far, do you want to introduce Kemi Seba, maybe who he is, brother?
You know what? I can. Let me do this. You probably can take it down because whatever's happening with the video, it's not showing the it was showing it before, but it's not showing the subtitles.
Subtitles. Okay, you're not seeing the subtitles. Is that in the chat? You can't see the subtitles. Okay, it looks as though it's a bit. Let me stop share and share again. Maybe it's not showing the correct portion of the screen, or I could share it in a different way. Or I could read. I don't mind reading along the subtitles just to make sure everyone gets it, because it's really important that you hear what this brother is actually saying. So he's appealing to the gang members now to come together, because I think you know how the imperialist works. They tend to have us fighting among ourselves and against each other. But what's unique about this particular brother is that he's, I think, calling on all of the so-called leaders, who the West called gang leaders, to put down their weapons and stop pointing at each other and come together. Should we try again with this clip, or do you want to talk to what the brother is saying?
If you try to play it, and we'll see if it works, and if not, then I'll go ahead and let you know, and then I could just kind of summarize it.
Okay. Let me try one more time, family, and bring this clip up for you, and then I might just read what it's saying. Okay. Right. Let's try and get the whole screen this time for us. Right, share the screen now. Start it from the beginning. There we go. Right.
J'ai eu
So he
plusieurs
said,
chefs
I
de
have
gang
several
qui,
gang
depuis le
leaders
début de
since
notre
the
séjour,
beginning of our
nous
stay
ont
that
contactés.
contacted me.
Nous allons rendre
We will
public
make
d'ici
it
quelques
public in a
jours
few days.
leurs propositions par
Their
rapport à l'appel
proposals
que j'ai
regarding the
lancé.
call I made. I
J'ai
said to
dit
the
aux chefs
gang
de gang
leaders
qu'ils devaient baisser les armes
It's
contre le
that
peuple.
he
it's
should
not
lower
showing.
his
Parce que
weapons
les
against
ennemis
the
des gangs,
Not,
ce
people.
n'était pas le peuple
Sister
Not
haïtien.
showing
Shanae.
C'est
still.
ceux qui leur donnaient les armes
No, it's not.
qui
Yeah,
sont
you can
venus sur le
just
peuple
pull it
haïtien.
down. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But at least people can see Brother
Yeah,
Kimmy say.
I was trying to read it as I was, yeah, I was trying to read it as we go along, but my internet's not great, so it probably wasn't coming across clearly either. So yeah, please do introduce the brother, share with us, you know, what he was saying about the meetings that he's been having with the members out there.
Sure. So, just a little bit of the brother's an author. He's an educator. He's a strong Pan-Africanist. He's a brother who says that my spiritual father is Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. So he's a very strong brother. What he said recently, I just heard him in one of the lectures I heard him say, he said that he's an advisor to President Chiani in Niger. So this is a brother out of the people that I'm aware of. There are two people who I know where I got my information about the horrible nature of French colonialism in Africa in a modern context. The first one was this brother named Kimi Seba. He's from Benin. He's been back and forth to France. He's been fighting against imperialism, even getting arrested in France recently. I mean, they don't like him. Like he's like persona non grata. Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad of West Africa, from what I understand, the French speaking part. And so he was talking about the problems. He was organizing people. He was saying, from my understanding and my knowledge of him, he has a very strong reputation of fighting against imperialism. Very strong. So he's from Benin. He recently visited Haiti, and he wanted to get in contact with General Barbecue and the other individuals that they call gang leaders, so that he could tell them, hey, look. And basically, from what I understand and what I heard him say, because he spoke at one of the universities there, so he spoke there. He spoke in Ethiopia as well on Pan-Africanism recently, and he went from Ethiopia to Haiti. And when he got to Haiti, he was lecturing, but he was also organizing to talk to the people on the ground, saying, listen, we need, for the people that are rebelling against imperialism in Haiti, we need you to join Pan-Africanism and adopt that as a platform so that we can unify and collectively fight against imperialism and colonialism against African people all over the world. So he was making a very strong plea to the different leaders, and definitely General Barbecue. And General Barbecue, from what I understand, he did a video saying, absolutely, our guns will not be pointed at any of our brothers and sisters on the ground. It'll be pointed at the imperial forces, the ones that gave us these weapons, and we will use it to fight them. We're on board. And so Brother Kimi Saber came out and gave a speech as well, and is saying, hey, I've talked to the people and they said we're going to do this. Now we have to merge these forces together and work to fight imperialism and colonialism. So this is major that this is happening right now in the world. Like we have a brother who speaks French and is in West Africa who's working with the AES. He's working with them. I would say he's probably, in terms of intellectually and the spirit of what is happening there, he probably had a lot to do with it, putting out the information about what the French were doing and how it's time for Africa to, he was doing this before the AES came into fruition. So he's been doing this for years. It was him and Dr. Ariana Chiambari Kwao who were most known for talking about what the French were doing to Africa. I think he was probably number one because he speaks French. And then she's also well known amongst us that speak English. And now he's working with them. And now he's made his way to the West, where our brothers and sisters speak French as well, and they're Haitian Creole. And they're saying, look, you all are in battle. We just can't be killing each other. Let's talk and see if we can unify under Pan-Africanism and fight against imperialism. This is major.
It is indeed. It's a new day, isn't it? I'm just going to go over to the chat, my beloved, and hear what our audience has to say about this new development that we're hearing about, in Haiti, because I know all of us, definitely my audience has a heart for Haiti, and we're always pained, pain to hear about, any incidences that's involving our brothers shooting their brothers and their sisters and destabilizing the country. And we know that the external forces are at play, but sometimes when you're in the thick of the fight, you can't hear the voices outside that are saying to you, stop fighting each other. There are players outside who are controlling things, but they're hearing this brother now, which is really good news. And plus, with the developments that's happening in the Sahel region in terms of, the demands for sovereignty and for taking back control of their country and their resources. I mean, this is what Haiti has been saying for a long time that it wants, but now they're not alone with that voice. So this definitely is a new day. Okay, let's have a look in the chat. Rise up, family in the chat. Yeah, Brother Kwame saying respect to Brother Kemi. Absolutely, he said, Brother Kemi is standing up for African unity, Ashe Mama Africana, Pan-African, unapologetic lioness. Yes, indeed. Dorabelle, glad to have you in the house, saying, wow, a great internet connection. Finally, Sister Shanice reminds me of the old times. Thank you. Yeah, perseverance. Thank you. Afrijammo's in the house, blazing up the fire. Rise up, Sister Afrijammo. Great to have you in the house as well. Let's go up and see what we've got. Yes, rise up. Sister Afrijammo says, greetings, Sister Shanice and Irritated Genie, my real African brothers and sisters in the chat watching from Ghana. Yes, rise up. Good to have you in the house. We've got a few brothers and sisters from around the world. Let us know where in the world that you're from. It'll be good to know. And Arno, he says, yes, Kemi Seba has a diplomatic passport from the president of Niger. Okay, so this brother knows a little bit about our brother Kemi as well. And, it's always, I celebrate when I hear brothers like that who are prepared to stand up and speak out, and I was saying on a radio show just yesterday evening, actually, Brother Prophet's radio show, that because we were talking about Marcus Garvey, because it was anniversary, sadly, of his passing, Marcus Garvey's passing. And we celebrate the whole month of August, usually, in the name of Marcus Garvey. But we also have an event in June as well to mark his passing. And, we all know so much about Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the leaders who he influenced, the people, the number of followers that he had around the world during those times. And I was saying, you know what? Ibrahim Traore is basically almost like the reincarnation of Marcus Mosiah Garvey in terms of his leadership, the abilities and the support that he has managed to gather from around the world. There's very few African leaders, who managed to get the whole African continent behind, well, almost the entire African continent and Africans around the world behind them. And Ibrahim Traore has certainly during our lifetime managed to do that. So we look to Garvey and we see that he was about sovereignty. He was about independence and our independent nations. He was about nation building. He was about us running our own businesses, taking control of our own resources, and he instilled that in other leaders that followed him, including Kwame Nkrumah and Sankara and the others. And here we have, during our time, Ibrahim Traore, who's blazing like the Garvey philosophy for his people, which is just phenomenal. And to have the support that he's got around the world from his own people, I am just loving this moment in time. But what I was also saying is that we need hundreds of thousands of Ibrahim Traores. We can't just have one Ibrahim Traore. We need thousands of them. And this Kebi, to me, is another soldier. And we need many more. So to all the men who are out there, we need you on the battlefield. So if they take out one, there's another that's going to stand out. Take up that one, there's another who stands out. Take out that. And so we just keep moving forward like soldiers on the battlefield, keeping hold of our resources, making provisions for our people in the agricultural sector, mining, all the sectors across the board. This is a new day. I'm excited about this day. Tell us some more about our brother Kemi, why we should be excited about what he could possibly bring to Haiti during this time of their woes and troubles.
I appreciate you saying that. And on my way to that discussion, I'd like to actually comment on something you just said. And you know, it's so like minds think alike. It's the first time in my life that I can remember where we started talking about someone like Baba Marcus Messiah Garvey, where we feel that that same international spirit of pride, dignity, uprightness, up you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. It's the first time we've seen a figure that gives us that sense of what we remember Baba Garvey doing. I want to say something, though, that goes to what you're saying. Here's the beautiful part about it. Honestly, if we understand it properly, right now, even though I would say we call him the Prince. We call him the Prince because he's the eloquent one that people know. But just to recount it, how it happened. First, it was Baba Goita in Mali. Baba Goita don't do no talking. He don't do a lot of talking. But it was him who said he went to the battlefield and was about to get the terrorists that were going to kill his people. And the French said, if you go any further, we're going to shoot you in the head. Now, he's a soldier, and they're with the French, but the French don't want him to destroy the people that are going to come to kill his people. And he said it destroyed him, and he made the decision at that moment, I'm going to free my people one day. This will never happen again. And so he overthrew the French, put them out, and now is saying, if you think you're coming in to kill our people, I got some tanks. We're going to go and we're going to get you. And he's been doing it. So it was him that started this in 2021. Then the Prince came. You know, Baba Traore, we love him. He's captured our minds and hearts and soul, that Garvey spirit. But then behind him, the elder came, Baba Chiani. And he's in Niger. So now you got Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Mali is on a war. I mean, I'm not saying they're all fighting war, but I'm saying, like, if I had to pick what are the pieces that we see, we call them the three kings. Why is this so beautiful? We got one of them that don't do a whole lot of talking, so you won't hear his name a lot, but out there on the battlefield, defending the lives of African people, going with those ones that are coming from Libya, those Arabs, and we call them desert rats because some of them black, Arab, whatever they are, coming to kill our people. Whatever they look like, they getting beat up. Like, he's not playing with them. So we have a military might in Mali right now that's incredible. And they're partnering with the Russians. So we have something militarily sound going on right now. Then Burkina Faso, I don't think we need to say what Baba Traore is doing. He's eloquent, what they're doing with the agriculture, the clothing, the manufacturing of cars, the manufacturing of the construction, building roads. I mean, he's like something out of a magic book or something. It's like you wrote a novel or something and made something up. It's incredible. His eloquence, he's really capturing the spirit and rising hopes of our people.
Yeah.
But then if we're talking about the power grid, if we're talking about using electricity, if we're talking about nuclear capability with the uranium to power Africa and in the power grid, we're talking about Niger, what Baba Chiani is doing there, and the wealth because they've taken back their uranium. So these three nations together popped up 21, 2022, and 2023. And now, well, we had Baba Garvey, and he had a lot of people supporting him too. We're not saying he didn't. But we really have three kings now. We got three heads of state who said, you mess with him, we don't need to have a dialogue because you just messed with me. We the same guy here. No egos here. And what I love, they let the young man, we call him the prince, they let him speak. They like, look, the people like to hear what he got to say. They say what they need to say, but they like, there's no egos there. It's like, they love to hear this young man. We love him too. This is our brother. And if you got any problem with him, you got a problem with us. So we have what we had under Baba Garvey, but there's a plus on it. And I'm not demeaning Baba Garvey on any level. I'm saying what he said would happen, we're starting to see. Baba Garvey said, when Garvey comes back with his flotilla of ships, Du Bois will still be out here talking about integration. And what he was saying is, we're moving towards military might. It ain't talking that. We actually, for the first time in our lifetime, when have we had the military might on the precipice of having nuclear weapons and with ground forces that can expel the US and France? All three of those nations have said, get out, like that way. And France said, we're not going to allow this to happen. We're going to get our Negropeans or our Mobutus in ECOWAS to come and attack you. And when they said they were going to attack Niger, Baba Traore and Baba Goita went to Niger. And you have to see the speech. And I'm going to get back to Baba Kemi's brother, Baba Kemi Seba and Haiti. But I just want to put it, I want y'all to, we haven't seen this. We have some Negroes, some Mobutus, race traders in ECOWAS. The master said, hey, don't you let these boys get out of hand. They told France they have to leave. Go do something, boys. And so those ECOWAS Sambos, or Mobutus, race traders, say we're going to assault Niger and put a military force together and go and overthrow them. And the leaders flew from Mali and Burkina Faso, and they had a big conference. And Baba Traore started speaking, and he said, listen, we heard they called their slaves a Salon, and they hopped on their horses and said they were going to attack our brother. He said, well, if you do that, he said, Burkina Faso, he said, we will fight to the last drop of blood to defend our brothers and sisters here. So if you want to do it, let's go. And they said, uh-oh, they did like this. And Baba Goita didn't say nothing. He just looked there. They already know. This is Mali. Them guys, you know how the Mali brothers are. The Malik, the Mandikas, you know what I'm saying? Them some fighters. Like, look, I ain't going to tell you what we're going to do. If you want to go, let's go. So ECOWAS backed up. When have we had the military might that somebody says they want to wage war against us and we say, let's go, and they back away? When have we had the military might to put France? They say that's probably in the top 4 militaries in the world. When have we had the power to tell France, get out, don't come back? Who's done that in Africa? This is unprecedented in modern times. Baba Garvey is smiling right now. And in that same vein, you're talking about Baba Kemi Seba, this good brother here, young brother, man, in his 40s, young, strong brother.
Before you go on to Kemi, I must also rise up the people of Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. The people, you know, the citizens of those nations have come out 100% behind those leaders. They were outside those embassies, also chanting for them to go. Those army barracks were overwhelmed. Those embassies were overwhelmed with the number of people that came out. So, you know, they weren't on their own either. This was also what is so beautiful about this picture. So we have the 3 kings. We were prepared to stand up, you know, and you know, represent the interest of their country and their nation and their people, knowing full well the risks that go with doing that. But then the people said, you know, we are behind you, in front of you, surrounding you, and they came out in force. Now, normally, countries like France and America and Britain, they would turn to the media and try to paint our kings as terrorists and criminals and gang leaders, etc. But the people weren't buying it and weren't having it. And also what's beautiful about today is that, there's social media. So we don't need to be indoctrinated anymore by their narratives through their mainstream news channels. We have our own news outlets and news channels right now that we can turn to get our news. And so our people are now tuning in to the alternative media that's communicating the messages, the Pan-African messages that they need to hear. So they know now that their countries are not poor, their countries have just been poorly managed. They know now that the reason for their impoverishment has been because of the exploitation of those Mobutus and the likes. And they heard the voices of the king saying, we've come to be the difference that you have wanted and have been crying for. And the population, I'm just seeing them in those demonstrations, flying the flags, flying the banners, for those leaders of theirs. And so I just wanted to rise up the population of those nations as well, for standing firmly against the oppressor, despite their narratives. And so, those countries had to back off, because it's like, these leaders have got their entire population behind them. We can't orchestrate counter demonstrations, because it would pale into insignificance compared to the hundreds of thousands of people that are pouring out in support. And we all saw that as well. Those of us in the UK, those of us in other parts of the continent, those of us in America, we saw the love, and we see the love that the people have for those leaders and the outpouring of support that they had. And that also, I feel, to some extent, is unique during these times. They've been able to divide us successfully for decades, for the last 50 years since independence. They've divided us, they've tricked us, giving us the illusion of independence, giving us the illusion that they are there for our benefit and for our interests, militarily, economically, politically. But no more, they can't fool us anymore. We see through their lies. And these leaders and the media that they have around them have been expert in exposing the lies and showing the truth to the people. And now we have Haiti and the people of Haiti as well, who may have believed the French narrative about their leaders being gang members and the puppets who they have in power as being the ones who are there to support them. But the picture is the same and very similar to what it is in Burkina Faso, Niger. And so now the people are saying, hang on a minute, isn't there some similarity in the picture here in Haiti as to the picture in Burkina Faso and Niger and Mali? And now you have this brother Kemi, who you're going to tell us about, who is just making that connection and the link for the people to see so clearly. Please rise up the brother for us.
Sure. So let me do this, because you said something that I think I'm glad you jumped in with that, because it ties perfectly when we're talking about Brother Kemi Saber. So I think it ties together like you said. Before any of this happened, Brother Kemi Saber was educating the people as to how France is being paid all of this money and they're supposed to be protecting the nations, but yet we have all of this terrorism. Why would we think that it's not France that is doing the terrorism? They're stealing our gold. So he was educating the people on what France is doing in Africa and the need for African people to fight for independence from France. So it goes very much in line with what you're saying. The people had already in their mind been indoctrinated before Baba Traore, before Baba Goita, before Baba Chiani took over. So the people were already dissatisfied and already educated on some level to the wickedness that the French were doing and that they needed to be removed and that they were being plagued. So by the time Baba Goita comes into Mali and said out, the people were 100% on board because they've been waiting to get rid of this treacherous leadership anyway and get some good leadership to push the French out. So they were waiting for, all they needed was a leader who would say, we're going to push the military that way. And the people were already on board to jump in. We'll put them out if the military doesn't. And so the same happened in Burkina Faso, the same with Niger. There were people, Baba Kemi Seba, this good brother, Pan-African brother, and other brothers and sisters. I don't know all of the organizations because they speak French, so I'm not very familiar with them. But they were doing the work, preparing the people for rebellion. So when the great leaders that we have now, the three kings, when they popped in with people who were already at least anxious to get colonialism off their back. They've been learning about colonialism. You know, we don't realize this, but a lot of times, maybe not right in this moment, but over the last 40 years, a lot of us in America or in the West have a better understanding of what colonialism and imperialism was. Even though they're in Africa where it happened, it's not like that's being taught in their schools. So only the ones with consciousness even know the kind of damage that's been done to them. And speaking of that point, I'll just give one illustration. When I did my lecture, Genocide, They've Come to Kill Us, I showed part of a documentary. I think it was The Ghost of Leopold, but it was one of them where they did all of this killing in the Congo. Leopold from the Belgian. But when they were interviewing the brother, it was so clear he didn't know who Leopold was. The white guy asked him, what do you think of Leopold? He said, that's our uncle who came to bring us civilization. So that's what he had been taught. And that's what the people in the Congo are thinking about the person that came to chop their hands off and steal their rubber and their gold and their resource wealth. I'm saying that to say the ground had been made wet by this brother, Kemi Seba, and others. He's the most prominent name I know of, so that this would happen. And so the point to what you're saying, now what we see, and I'll say for the record, I haven't been to Haiti. I've done two interviews with brother Barbecue, General Barbecue, and I've introduced him to some people in the East from the African continent and let them interview him. I haven't been on the ground, so I'm not certain. Some people are sketchy about how he's in that position. At any rate, I'll say this. Where we can see the similarity is this. It's the same, not just European interests, but a specific group of European interests. Y'all know who I'm talking about. They are the problem. They're trying to take Haiti now, just like these other individuals said they're going to recolonize Africa, re-enslave Africa. At the same time that's happening, here's the beautiful thing. The last great mighty empires that Africa had before the transatlantic slave trade were in Mali. The Mali Empire. It's right there where these three kings are right now. That was the last great empires. Ouagadougou, Shanghai, Mali, right there. The first African nation anywhere in the world to completely overthrow slavery and lead to the end of slavery. This was the spark that ended slavery. The transatlantic slavery in this world as a legal entity, the spark that led to making it illegal in most places was the Haitian Revolution. So the Haitians are the beginning. In other words, the end of our greatness, of our empires, we could see was Mali, Shanghai, and Ouagadougou. The beginning of liberation and destruction of tyranny and freedom from African people was in Haiti. Right now, in this dispensation of time that we're in, it's almost like it's like a story that's been written or something. When this group is rising in the East to have sovereignty, this group in the West who has a history of being the lead in fighting tyranny and ending enslavement and imperialism, they too are in rebellion. And imagine these two forces, East and West, African, purely African people, are now connecting and saying, how can we create an international African unification to resist Western imperialism and enslavement of African people? How can we even write a story even better? How can we write a better story?
Wow. Wow. Living during these times. Living during these times. My
brother Kimmy Saber is actually speaks French. What are the chances? I want us to really think about this. Think about the chances of this. I mean, what are the chances that the particular region of African people anywhere in the world who would be deciding now, we're going to be the leaders in ending the oppression of African people and lead the way in African sovereignty in the 21st century, that they would just happen to be speaking French, all three of them. The three to lead the way, they said it starts with ones that speak French, and they're in the East. And it just so happens that the only group in the West who decides to take up arms and say, we may not have every piece of this right, but we are not going to let you enslave us. This is our land. The only people in the Western Hemisphere, white, black, or anybody else, would just so happen to be other Africans who speak French and have been fighting the French as well, which is our Haitian brothers and sisters, which means they can communicate easily and help one another, particularly what the AES is doing and what the Haitians are doing on the ground. Why couldn't the AES find a way, speaking French, to lend some type of support for Haitian sovereignty as well? I mean, I think the ancestors wrote this story out for us. All we got to do is do our part.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And we'll come back to my brother, so you can maybe share with us what you think our part to my brother, so you ought to be. I can hear myself coming back. Am I freezing? Is my computer playing up at the moment? Am I freezing?
You're freezing a little bit, but you're coming back in now.
Computer playing up at the moment?
A little bit, but I can hear you.
Okay, all righty. Let me know if you need to take over, because my internet's playing up. I was just going to go over to the chat, so that we can have a bit of a conversation, see what the conversation is that's going on in there. We've got Buana in the house saying Haiti needs food ready, going to war for the promise of food, clean water and talk. So I think that needs to be addressed. Buana thinks Haiti needs food. I think that needs to be addressed. So rise up, Dora Bell. Good to have you in the house as well. She says, wow, a great internet connection. Oh yeah, I said that one. I don't know about now. Tell me what the connection is sounding like now, because I'm hearing myself coming back. Rise up, Kwame. He's saying the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, our great Pan-African leader, mentor, and hero. Yes, Ashe, Baba Marcus. Bigging up Marcus Messiah Garvey. We've got Victoria's sister in the house saying the awakening is starting, a revolution which cannot be stopped. Oh, yes. I certainly feel as though we're on the wave of greatness. Love that, love that. Rise up, Sister Afrojamo as well. Bigging up Marcus Messiah Garvey. Then he started, but it's just now that the people are beginning to understand what a great man he was. Sheriff S is in the house. Rise up, Sister Sheriff S as well. Great to have you in the house. Let's see if there's any comments. Great to have you in the house. Brother Chomore is continuing where his predecessor, Baba Thomas Sankara, left it off. building new schools, factories, absolutely. I mean, this is what we expect all our leaders to do. You know, so rising up for that. Sheriff S, Burkina Faso has started making their own artifacts. Oh no, their own aircrafts. Yes, indeed, brilliant. Oh no, big up brother Errol in the house. Yes, good to know that you're really in the house. Big up brother Errol in the house. Good to know that you're okay, I'm going to go over to brother Genie because I'm hearing a lot of feedback and I'm not sure how it's coming over. Because I'm hearing a lot of feedback and I'm not sure. Yeah, too much echo I'm hearing now. Let me bounce back to you, my beloved brother. Too much echo I'm hearing now. Let me bounce back to you, my beloved brother.
Okay. So I'm going to answer the question you asked, what is our part? I think it was an excellent question. And I'm not saying this because we're doing it right now. I'm being perfectly serious when I say this. Just like we talked about, if the people did not understand that the French were exploiting them, if they just thought it was their corrupt leaders, even when they had a good leader who overthrew the corrupt leaders, they wouldn't have backed those leaders in expelling the French. So someone had to share the information and perspective with the people to be ripe for rebellion when the leadership that they've been looking for presented itself. Had they been prepared to do what they're doing before the people were prepared for their coming, the people would not have supported them. None of this would have worked. So it's that prep of information and consciousness to take a person from saying, hey, the only reality that's possible is that the people in Haiti who are being called gangs are violent ones, and we need to find a solution for them. So maybe it's okay if they hire a white mercenary to go kill Haitian people because it's gangs. If there's no prep work, like what we did when I interviewed Brother Barbecue, and let you hear from him, I'm not saying one way or the other what the absolute reality is. I am saying this, you heard from him, not from the white guy who said he's going to go and enslave black people. You heard from him. And these are people with weapons who are fighting. At least we now can ask the question, is General Barbecue going to be committed to African liberation? Can he organize those gangs, Vive Ensemble, who now say we're not a gang, we're a liberation movement, Vive Ensemble, live together. We're going to live together. No rape, no murder of innocent people, but we will take these guns, and if you think you're going to take our nation from it, we will kill you. And we're going to be a freedom fighting movement for Haiti. We can think that way because we heard from him. So when you say, what is our job? What you're doing right now, we're not just sitting by looking at Eric Prince go and slaughter Black people in Haiti. We're talking to the entire African world community, letting us know that this white man, as an individual, declared war against all of us. They said they're going to re-enslave us. That means the women are going to get raped and murdered, the children are going to get kidnapped, and the men are going to get killed. That's what slavery means. So he declared war on us. So we should know that. Well, what good is it if we don't know it? But you open up your airways, now people in London are going, I got to look this Eric Prince up and hear what he had to say. When you hear what he had to say, you're going to say, oh, no, we're not doing that. And now we know how to feel about Blackwater and Eric Prince, the one who said he's going to re-enslave us, going to murder Haitians. Now we know to ask the question, this is a brother from Benin who went to Haiti. If he has the presence of mind to say, we need to take the people on the ground who are fighting and see if they'll join in Pan-African rebellion against the oligarchs and against the imperialists and colonialists, now we can ask that question. And we're not just asking it in Haiti. We're not just asking it in the West. We have a brother from the East coming to the West asking, can we join? And the brother immediately, General Barbecue, at least I don't know about all of the leaders, but I know General Barbecue came right out and said, we're 100% on board. We won't be killing our people. We're going out here after the folks that gave us these weapons to try to destroy and destabilize. We're on board. I'm not saying if it'll work, but I'm saying this, it's better than letting some white man come and murder and slaughter our people, our Haitian brothers and sisters. We now at least have an opportunity to see an actual practical unification. But I want people to understand how it happened. It just happened African to African. There was no magic that how this happened. There was no magic carpet that brought Brother Kimmy Saber across. It didn't work that way. We're all doing our parts. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't reach out to General Barbecue and give him an audience for us to at least hear what he had to say. I don't know that Brother Kimmy Saber would have heard what was going on with General Barbecue had we not done that. Had you not come and asked me to do a discussion a couple of years ago, I had pretty much stopped doing these for whatever reason. I don't remember the reason, but I wasn't out here talking. But they shut me down off the internet. If you didn't bring me to speak to the people, I probably wouldn't be doing a lot of this. I might not have met General Barbecue because I wasn't doing this. So I'm saying that to say, when you say what do we need to do, what we're doing here is so critical because maybe it's not 1 million views that we can see here because we know they repress how many views. But guess what? When it finishes, there are people who download it, send it to their friends. Some of them sit and watch it in the classroom. They might have 1 view, but it might be 30 children in the classroom watching this going, ooh, who was Barbecue? Now they go and look at the Barbecue. Now they look up Kimmy Saber. Now the brothers and sisters who speak French, who never look at anything that we do. One of them that speaks French and English looks at what we're doing here, says, yo, they're talking about Brother Kimmy Saber and they love him. Oh, they're talking about a brother named Barbecue. I'm going to play this for the people and I'm going to translate it to them. They speak French. I'm going to speak French while I play it for them and let them know what's happening. And they're going to sit there in these classrooms and in these community groups and be clapping and saying, there's a black guy, he's in America. And there's a sister, she's from England and she's in Africa. And they're talking about Kimmy Saber, who's in Benin in Africa, about what's happening with our brother General Barbecue and the Haitian brothers and sisters in Haiti. And we have real living African unification and African liberation. Like we're all participating right now. Like this is not Memorex, this is live. We're participating, the revolution is being televised. We're actually live broadcasting dialogue about real life movement of African people who are fighting for liberation in different parts of the world. We're talking about what's happening and how to maneuver to get our people excited about what happens so that when the proper leaders make the proper decisions and moves, instead of us listening to what the whites say with propaganda and turning against them, when our good leaders stand up, we will already have primed people to say, no, don't believe that. Watch this. This person might be okay. So now we know the good guys from the bad guys. This is, you ask, what do we do? In my opinion, it doesn't get more valuable than what we're doing now because this is the wet ground for, we saw it work with the 3 kings. Like I said, Brother Kimmy Saber been doing that. You've been doing it. I've been doing it. We've been doing what we've been doing for a long time. Now we got Haiti in it. Now we got to get some more voices from Haiti in it. Brother John that you connected me with, he's been extremely helpful. He's organizing and doing great things for the Haitian people. We're actually doing it. Like we say, what do we do? This is what we do. So the first step, we start putting the voices that need to be heard. We need to get, I'll tell you what the next step. The next step, because he does speak English, you should get Brother Kimmy Saber and have one African you know that speaks French as well and English, and bring Brother Kimmy Saber on to interview him before your audience. And let's see if we can get more brothers and sisters in the West to become familiar with that brother and what he's trying to do, and let's let his voice be heard than Africans in the West. Even if you have to get a moderator to help with the translation, you know, because he speaks French, but he speaks a little English. But why not do that? You can do that. You're the person that everybody likes to hear about international African unity anyway. They like to hear Sister Shanice. Go ahead and organize that. And if you need my help, I'll help you to organize that. Bring the brother on. Let him tell what he's doing. He already has a huge African French speaking base. Let's get him exposed to the Africans who speak English. Why not?
Yeah, certainly agree with that. I mean, does anybody know how to get in touch with that brother?
Okay.
If anyone knows how to get in touch with the brother, let's make it
If anybody
happen. How to get in touch with the brother. I'm getting some really awful feedback.
Okay, so for the brothers and sisters out there,
I'm getting some really awful feedback, and the audio is not good at the moment. And the people in the chat are saying as well that the audio is breaking up. We had a good run for an hour, my brother, but now the audio. We had a good run for an hour, my brother, but we might have to continue our conversation next week or tomorrow. Continue our conversation. There's still an echo coming out, or I don't know what's causing it. I was hearing it the whole time you were talking as well, and I was trying to listen because I so wanted to hear what you were saying, and I was hearing what you were saying, but because passion and the energy, I wanted to hear what you were saying. The character with to go with what you were saying was in passion and the energy by the echoing. To go what they say in the chat, Can we push on, or shall we continue? What they say in the chat another day. Someone's Afro-Jammer saying this. Shall we continue? OMH is saying about the Mali Songhai Empire. Yeah, they're right. They won't stop us. Father Malcolm warned us: liberty or death. Father Malcolm warned us: liberty or death. Speaker is breaking. What do you suggest, my brother? I mean,
for the brothers and sisters online, if you can let us know whether or not.
Suggest, my brother. I mean, how am I sounding to you?
You coming across fine for me, but if the brothers and sisters online will let us know if it's something that's too difficult to hear that we should go to next week, or if we can still hear. I mean, if they can hear well enough, that would help us if they would let us know.
Okay, so they're about a minute behind, so they'll start letting us know and give us some feedback at the moment. I don't want to take away from the energy, that I was enjoying in this conversation. But the audio that I was enjoying not right. In this conversation. The audio it's not on here. Is not right. What's going on? It's on mute, how it should be. It's not on here. So very poor audio at the moment. So family, what are you saying about the audio? Genie is fine, echoing from myself. Okay. What do you say? Mother says sound both distorted now. Myself. Okay. Tuka Pamoja said it's buffering terribly. Now. OMH is saying we can make a movie about Assimi Goita. Yeah, we need to make movies about these guys. I agree. Kevin says I can hear, but her feed is in and out. I think the problem is my end. Says I can hear, but her feed is in and out. Let me zip it. Let me. Beloved brother, the spirit of what's happening now, please just get us into that spirit. The Goita, the Semi, the Ibrahim Traore, Haiti, Ibrahim Traore, Haiti. These people are planning to recolonize our country. This is their plan. We have got to stop that from happening. Their plan. We have got to stop actually happening.
Yeah, let me, yes. So okay. So Somebody said let's make a movie about the three kings. Okay, so this is what I'll say. And I know it's a little bit off, but I don't think so much. Somebody said good night. Both audios are not good. Somebody, if you can come in now as I'm speaking to let me know, because I don't want to do a lot if the audio is not too good. But I want to take it just back a little bit because, and this is totally, I think we've talked about the practical reality. Oh, somebody said the genie is frozen. So let me see.
Shall we continue? We've covered so much. I think we've got to the point now where we need to be talking about how we move forward as a people, because we put it on the table what their plans are. Their plan is to recolonize Africa, you know, and we can't allow that to happen. We know what that means for us as a people. As you said, you've reminded us, it means slavery. It means us being on the plantation. It means us being dehumanized. It means us being, you know, going back to the whips on our back. And we do not want that and cannot allow that to happen whatsoever to our future generations. And so we need to, I think, continue this conversation. My beloved brother, if you're available next Wednesday, you know, we would so welcome you to come back and we'll try again. Or maybe next Thursday, because sometimes I think a Thursday seems to be better with the reception than a Wednesday. Well, are you available next Wednesday or Thursday? Are you available next Wednesday or Thursday?
I'm not sure right now. We could try to see if we could do something tentatively for Thursday. But I'm actually like literally not sure right now, so I'm not sure.
Okay, so family, unfortunately, we can't let you know right now. Okay, so family, unfortunately, we can't let you know right now, but we will be back.
Somebody says continue. Somebody says they can hear well enough that we can continue.
We will be back. Okay, let's go with it. Yeah, if they can hear. You are frozen, bro, and she has an echo. Maybe you should go out and come back in. If I go out, I wonder if I can actually come back in. I don't want to lose the broadcast, because if I end this meeting, I think it will end for all of us. We've got Jughead in the house, not seen you for a while. Rise up. Okay.
What if I go out?
I think seen you for a while. Rise up.
What if I go out and come back in?
I think the problem's you can try it, but I think the problem's my end. But yeah, let's give it a try, please. So Brother Genie's going to go out and come back in. But yeah, and let's see what happens.
Okay.
So Brother Genie's going to go out and come back in. And let's see what happens. So as soon as our brother leaves, I will continue. And I wonder if you'll be able to hear me. Okay, Brother Genie seems to have frozen now for me. Okay, he's gone. Let me know, family, how I'm coming over now that our brother is gone. Hopefully he'll come straight back in again, because I don't want to lose this connection. In the meantime, I just want to rise up all of my Patreon supporters. Those of you who are with me on Patreon, you'll know that I've posted a new book on Patreon, and it's about the imperialist charter. And I suggest everybody gets a copy of the imperialist charter. This charter was actually written back in 1884-85, when they were slicing up Africa. And basically, this charter was an agreement that all the European countries came together and agreed. And they said that if they all follow these rules, then they will be able to continue to colonize us into perpetuity. And so we are sitting around the table with these people. We're thinking that they are being fair with us, that they've got their own rules and their own framework that they're working to. They have been deliberately politically destabilizing our countries, and it's in their rules and their charter that that's what they should do. They have been deliberately undermining our countries economically because it's in their charters that they should do that. They have been deliberately stirring up ethnic conflicts in our countries, and it's in their charter that that's what they should be doing. You know, they've given us this fake independence, and the whole time, economically, politically, socially, they have been engineering systems, engineering policies to undermine our efforts to become sovereign nations. And so these colonial powers have been systematically undermining us all the way. And I've set out for you exactly what they've been doing and how they've been doing it. It's basically covert systems that they have been pursuing against our nations and against our interests. And their institutions like the Monetary Fund, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and these multinational corporations are all part of their systems that they've been using to undermine our ability to be independent. And these agreements, let me just get one or two of these, the imperialist charter up on the screen for you until our brother comes back, so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And we have to have a response as Pan-Africanists to this charter as well. But if we don't know what they're doing, then, you know, we don't know, we're not in a position to actually respond. So let's get up a couple of their charters. Let me share the screen and bring it up for you. But first of all, actually, let me just make sure that you can hear me. Let's see what you're saying in the chat now. Our brother's gone. You're fine. It's on Brother Genie's end. All right. Okay, good. You can hear me now. Try it, my sister, enough of it. Okay, respect your opinion. The echo is gone. You're coming across loud and clear. Okay, good. Okay, coming across loud and clear. Thank you so much for letting me know. Hopefully our Genie will be able to come back with a clearer line. I'm just going to bring up, while I wait for Brother Genie to come back, the charter. And so you can see what this charter entails, that these imperialists, the rules that these imperialists have been using against us. Well, the first part of the charter is the general provision, and it's Article 1. And their motto has been, of imperialists, has been to govern the world and control the wealth of the planet. Our policy is to divide and conquer, dominate, exploit, and plunder, to fill our banks and make them the most powerful in the world. So they've got this hidden policy, yeah, and this motto of imperialism. And their motto of imperialists is to govern and control the wealth of the planet. And that obviously is talking about our wealth. And so this is why they've got all of their so-called investors, yeah, all over Africa, controlling our wealth, because it's in their motto of imperialism to ensure that they are controlling our wealth. And in order to do that, they pursue a policy of divide and conquer. They pursue a policy to dominate and to exploit us. And their policy of filling their banks with all our wealth, which is why they refuse to recognize our banks, and they've got in the way of our African nations having their own African banks. This is why they control all of the money in their banks, because they know by controlling all the money in their banks, it makes them the most powerful in the world. And Article 2 of their charter says that no third world country should be sovereign and an independent state. So here we have them clearly stating in their policies that None of our countries, who they deem as third world country, according to them, is sovereign and should be an independent state. And then Article 3 says all power in the third world country emanates from us, and we exercise it by putting pressure on the leaders who are merely our puppets. No organ of the third world can lay claim to exercise it. So here, they've made it clear in Article 3 that as far as they're concerned, unless they control our leaders, they are going to make sure that we don't lay claim to our country. And they've made it clear as well that they will put pressure on our leaders who are merely, they say, their puppets. Article 4, all third world countries are divisible and their borders can be moved according to our will. Respect for territorial integrity does not exist for the third world. So, you know, this is why we have the problems of the borders. They've cut through, you know, ancient borders, you know, to divide different ethnic groups. And then they've caused division among those different ethnic groups. They've refused to recognize our borders, move our borders at will, have their military on our borders, causing havoc on our borders because they have no respect for our territories. And we know how they respect their territorial boundaries. Yeah, they put up their huge wire fences, they build their walls, they patrol their boundaries, but they're saying that our boundaries can be moved according to their will. You can see what they're doing and what's going on, the double standards, you know. Hopefully our brother will be able to make his way back in as well. And then Article 5 says, all dictators must put their fortunes in our banks for the security of our interests. So, you know, here we are as a people, you know, criticizing these dictator African governments for putting their fortunes in European banks. Well, they have been told and instructed to do so because the Western powers recognize that it's dangerous for these dictators to put the billions that they give them into African banks. They have to put the billions and keep the billions in the Western banks. So they're not really giving them that money at all. The money is there in their own banks. And as soon as these dictators decide that they want to sing a different tune, they just freeze their bank account. So again, another form of control. And here it is in Article 5. All dictators must put their fortunes in our banks for the security of our interests. These fortunes will be used as donations and credits granted by us as assistance and development aid to the third world countries. What a wicked set of people. The same money, yeah, that's sitting in their banks in the name of the dictators, they're using it to give us back as development aid and as assistance, you know, and they wonder why we're moving away from them. We need to run in the opposite direction. Let me just check over here to make sure they're still coming through. And let me see if there's any comments there from our good audience. OMH says, a brother from Senegal, taxi driver in Spain, put me on to France's Hustleback in 2016. I was on a business trip to the EU. We spent 3 hours talking that night. My perspective of France changed. Okay. And, you know, what was it before and what did it change to afterwards? Okay, Sister Chief, can you put the link to this charter in the chat? Yes, I will do. And Jajed saying, I was talking to the brother Kwame Oboje, they Chita Pomoka. I'm so sick of them. The earth is groaning as a result of their greed, aggression, and jealousy. It's so, so true. All we as a people want is peace. That's all we want, peace. And these warmongers, let's see if I can get rid of this thing here. These warmongers, you know, all they want is to cause havoc. Let's see, if I just get rid of this. Hide, yeah. Yeah, hide. Go away. Yeah, they just want to strip the world of all of its assets, its resources, and everything. Ugh, I can't get to hide that. Sorry about that. let's go to the next page and read a couple more until our brother comes back. Then they've got the second part of the charter, section 2, about the political regime. Article 6 says, any power and government established by us is legal, legitimate, and democratic. But any other power or government that does not emanate from us is illegal, illegitimate, and dictatorial, whatever its form and legitimacy. You hear that, though, family? Yeah. So when they have these ancient African politicians who have been in government positions or in leadership positions for decades, yeah, robbing the country, yeah, who they can point to as being corrupt, who they are corrupting. So you've got the corruptors corrupting the corrupt. And they're happy for that to happen because those are the governments that they're saying that they will recognize as being legal and legitimate and democratic, because they're the ones that they have established and put into government positions. And it's in their Article 6 that they will recognize those sorts. But any other power or government that does not emanate from us, as far as they're concerned, it's illegal, illegitimate, and dictatorial. And that's why they're coming out, family, against the Sahel leaders, the 3 kings that we've been talking about, because they didn't put them in power. So that's why they've been using their media and their power to try and paint them as illegal and illegitimate. That's why they're refusing to recognize them, despite the support that they've got from the entire African population, from their population and Africans around the world. As far as the West are concerned, if they don't control them, they're illegal. If they haven't put them into the government positions, they're illegitimate. And if they haven't rigged the elections and called it a democratic process by which their puppets have been elected, as far as they're concerned, it's dictatorial. Well, now we know that, family. We need to refuse to recognize any government that they are propping up that's not working in the interests of the people. We need to claim that those governments are illegitimate and are undemocratic. We need to flip the script on them, family. And we are absolutely right to continue to recognize our governments, the government of Burkina Faso, the government of Mali, the government of Niger. Those are the sorts of government with the policies that they are putting, out there that we want to support. We want to support those who are walking in the spirit of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We want governments who are walking in the spirit of Sankara, in the spirit of Kwame Nkrumah, in the spirit of our great leaders. Those are the leaders that we, the people, want. And now we have our own social media networks, and we can legitimize those governments ourselves. And let's continue to condemn those politicians and leaders who are being used against us and against the people by those Western powers, because there's power in us doing so, family. Article 7 says, any power which opposes the slightest resistance to our injunctions loses by the same token its legality, legitimacy, and credibility. It must disappear. You hear? So this is what our brothers, in the Sahel are up against. Yeah, because these are powerful governments now that are opposed to the Western powers and their hegemony. And because they're opposed to it now, these Western powers, according to Article 7, are all in line with the same agreement that it must disappear. And so, these people have been taking out our leaders for decades, not even decades, for hundreds of years, from the days on the plantation, when our leaders have risen up. Sam Sharp, Paul Bogle, Nami of the Maroons, Bookman Dutty, and Kwaku, and all of these Taki, and all of these great leaders of ours on the plantation, when they rose up, what did they do? They hunted them down and they took them out, and then as a people, we go back to sleep until another great one rises. But we can't sleep anymore. We cannot sleep anymore. We have to, realize what the Charter of Imperialism is all about. We need to know the rules of the game that they are playing to, get to understand it, so that we can, family, ensure that when we sit round the table, we're in a position where we know the games that they are playing. Article 8 says, according to them, we do not negotiate agreements and contracts with third world countries. Hang on a minute. You don't negotiate agreements and contracts with us. So all these meetings that you're having with all of our so-called leaders, the summits that you have, the UK Africa summit, the France Africa summit, the Russia Africa summit, I won't count Russia in this, all these summits and summonses that you're summoning our leaders to attend, and you're supposedly negotiating contracts with them. According to Article 8, you don't negotiate agreements and contracts. You impose them on us. You impose what you want. And as far as you're concerned, we are subject to your will. Hey, what that them say? We don't have a say. They don't negotiate with us. That's why, when our leaders, so-called leaders, sit around the table with these people, they're sent away with their tail between their legs and a contract under their arm that they have been told to sign, sometimes in a language that they don't even understand, and that they've agreed to, because there's no room for no negotiation. That's why we've got these ridiculous contracts up and down Africa with the Western powers, where we get like 2%, 3% of our own minerals and resources, and they get the 97%, 96% of these resources. This is what was happening in Niger and the Sahel countries. They were supplying the lithium and the coltan and all of the resources that they needed to light up the West while their country was in darkness. And they were not able to have decent negotiations to try and improve the deals, because as far as the West was concerned, we don't negotiate with third world countries. Well, we're not going to tell you that. We'll let you sit around the table and give you the impression that, you have a say. But at the end of the day, what you're saying is going to go through one ear and out the other, because we're just going to impose what we want on you. Because you, as far as we are concerned, are subject to our will. And we thought we were independent. We thought our countries were independent. Article 9, any agreement with any other country or a negotiation without our approval is null and void. Wow. So this is why we're having problems and challenges, family, with African countries coming together, to have agreements around trade, agreement around independent currencies, agreement to work together as an African Union, because, the West refuses to recognize those negotiations, and they're on the outside putting pressure on their puppets to withdraw themselves from these discussions, and they're actively involved in undermining any agreement that these countries, the African countries, try to have with one another. It's by design. They are the orchestrators behind the scene, causing the destruction, deliberately so. It's their policy. It's in their articles. It's in their treaties. Family, there's 28 of these treaties. I've put it all together in this colorful format that you can see here. And we need to know all of these rules and understand them, so that when they are being played out, we know what's going on. Here, Article 4, about their fundamental rights. Number 4, Article 10, where our interests are at stake. third world countries have no rights in the countries of the South, or where our interests are concerned, their interests come before our interests, even before the law, even before international law. And we wonder, family, why we can't get any legal address. Because if it's in their interests, as far as they're concerned, even if it goes to the courts, yeah, their interest comes before the law, even at an international level. So there's no point in taking our issues to their courts, because if it's about their interests, that's where it ends. And this is why we can see what's going on in Palestine and why they refuse to cause it a genocide, why they refuse to recognize the atrocities that are taking place, because it's in their interest. And when it's in their interest, we have no rights. Wow, wow, wow. If we don't know what imperialism is about, then we need to make sure that we get to overstand it. And we need to know the rules that they are operating by. And it's all in this Charter of Imperialism. You can find it online, or you can get a copy of it via my Patreon. I've actually put this document together as a flip book, or it's available as a PDF, or it's available as an audio. You can get that for £3. Okay, that's a small contribution towards my works. And you can join me on Patreon while you're there, should you wish to do so. I'm going to start posting a lot more products that you can get on Patreon. And also, you know, as a Patreon supporter, you'll be supporting the works that I'm doing. Let me find the link so that you can have that, family. I wasn't prepared to do this, so I don't have the link in front of me, but I'm going to find it for you so that you can have access to that document, which is a really, really important document. And I think we all need to understand the Charter of Imperialism. I've got it open somewhere in one of my many pages here. I'm just looking for it now. But if you go to Patreon, just search for my name, Sister Shanice, and you'll find my Patreon page, and you'll find the Charter of Imperialism. As I said, we all need to familiarize ourselves with it. I can't find it. Let me just bring it up again. Right, here it is. Okay. Let me just copy that link. It's patreon.com /C/Sister Shanice. Okay, I've got it here. Let me go over to the chat and just post it. This link. I think our brother must be having some difficulty why he hasn't come back. Let me see if he's left me a message in WhatsApp. It's not like him to just leave like this. There must be a reason why. Where's my phone gone? Right. Irritated Genie, where are you? What's happened? I'm sure he can't get back on. But he did say that he would come back. So I know he's going to check his diary and check his availability. So family, please check my my Patreon, or check my community page here on YouTube, and I will let you know when we can come back to continue this conversation that we started today with our brother Irritated Genie, because I just love the way he breaks down the messages and the way he draws, you know, the parallel between what's happening around the African world. I can see here, let me just send him a message. Hey. it could be my system that's blocking him out. I'm not sure what it is, but unfortunately our brother hasn't been able to return. But so to wrap up, let me go over to you, my wonderful audience in the chat. Those of you who are still with us, rise up. If you haven't given me a thumbs up and a like, please do. Constructive Economics says, type above, meant to type out rather than out. Thank you for hosting this important conversation. Thank you so much. Coconuts are F-A-F-O in the AES. Not sure what that means. Red Rose says, just focus on making Africa and the Caribbean richer, sovereign, safer, happier. No need to harm anyone. And that's exactly what they're frightened of, you see. They don't want to leave us alone. Because if they leave us alone, we will be great again, just like we were in the past, you know. They don't want, you know, the Black Wall Street everywhere, you know, Rosewood all over Africa. They don't want the rise again of the ancient Mali Empire, Songhai Empire, Ghana Empire. They don't want the rising again of all these empires. We've got all of the riches, you know. They would pale into insignificance. But remember, they are what? About 17% of the world population, yet they behave as though they're the global giant around the world. And they have to make us believe that they are almighty and all powerful. And, you know, for them to be able to do that, they have to use their media to give us that impression. And, you know, because they have controlled the media up until now, you know, many of our people around the world have believed it. And many of our people who've been indoctrinated and miseducated by these people still believe that they are almighty and all everything else. When really we are the ones who are almighty. We are the creators. We are the innovators. We are the inventors, you know? And we don't need anything from them. And they don't want us to realize that, because the day we do, it's all over for them. The day we turn our back on them, it's all over for them. Let's see what the family is saying. Right, let's go. I have a suggestion, brother construct or sister constructive economics has said. Perhaps we need to copy our adversaries. We need to create a cartoon that shows all the Western politicians and ministers who use vassals in Africa to undermine us. So use the cartoon. They were very good at using cartoons to humiliate us, insult us, to demean us, and cartoon illustrations is a powerful way, yes, to get stories across. And a lot of our people have been using that to explain the situation that we are facing. So, for example, you know, the cartoons with them holding the strings, you know, and our leaders as puppets and them as the puppeteers, that has been communicating a powerful message. So it means need examples of the sellout coconuts. Yes, we talk about the sellout coconuts and we expose them here. You know, the leaders of Kenya, for example, Ruto, and what he's doing in his country to his people. You know, these old dictators that want to, you know, anybody that speaks up and speak out, they want to abduct them. And then these people are found murdered. There was a recent case in Kenya of a popular YouTuber. No, he was a Twitter person. And he was critical, quite rightly so. We have the right to criticize. You know, he was criticizing the police, someone high up in the police authority, and they went to his house, arrested him, and took him up to a police station about 300 kilometers away from his home, and he was found dead in his cell, and they're trying to claim that he committed suicide. Everyone knows they murdered him. So we have these dictators in these African countries, these sellouts in these African countries, these treasonous, treacherous ones as leaders. of the police forces, leaders of the army there, leaders of the government, who are so hell-bent on power that they don't see their people as being the ones who they need to serve. And so if anybody dares to criticize them, you know, they take them out. Evil at work. Rise up, Sister Afrijamo, for getting the likes up. Thank you so much to those of us who have already given us a like as well. Our people need to see this over and over so that they understand how our adversaries work behind the shadows. When they see, they will know, and then they will come. Ashe. You mentioned the shadows. You just reminded me to mention my book that's going to be released on the 25th of this month. So from the 25th of this month, go to Amazon and you can get a copy of my book, Hidden in the Shadows of Ancient Britain, an African history erased, restored. I have restored and erased African history. Family, I've rewritten British history, a history that they're not going to teach us in any school, college, or university, and that they have not taught us. Basically, we as Africans are the founding fathers of Britain. We were the ones who were ruling Britain for thousands and thousands of years before there was even a single white person, you know, to speak of on the planet, much less in Britain or out of the Caucasus Mountains as yet. And I've been doing the digging, I've been doing the research, and I've put it in my book. And you need to get a copy of this book. I'll tell you more about it when it comes out, but it is coming soon, family. And you need to read it. It will, you know, and you know what? In fact, I think that the book that I have written is not for this generation. I think it's for the next generation. Why do I say that? I say that because my generation, this generation, has been so indoctrinated with the lie of our history. A lot of my generation are going to find the research that I've uncovered unbelievable. They are going to prefer to believe the lie that they have been told rather than believe the truth that I'm exposing in my book. It's a sad situation, but it's the reality of the extent of the brainwashing. But check out the video that I did with Dr. Clyde Winters. I went through a number of chapters that I've got in my book. I did that a couple of strongs ago. Some say weak, we say strong. Yeah, so a couple of strongs ago, I did a show with our beloved Dr. Clyde Winters, and I did a presentation about my book that is coming soon. So please do check that out. I've given you a bit of an insight into a number of chapters in that book that I've written about. That will give you a flavor of what the book is about. S.A. Smith is responding to something Kwame Oboje says, rise up, true, she says, that is what more of us need to understand. We don't owe anyone anything. That's so true. African leaders need to speak out what they are going through. Yes, speak out about what they are going through and stop being passive. It is not going to work out in their favor or help their people. The leaders in Sahel explained what was happening. Exactly. Lumqua says, continued, try and get their own satellites. Yes, so we can transmit information across Africa. Yes, indeed, we need our own satellite. That's why I'm glad so many African countries rejected Elon Musk's Stargate, because we need our own. We cannot be giving over our data to these countries. Data is wealth. Once they've got all of our data, they'll know everything about us, our blood type even, you know, our health records, our national insurance details, our bank account details. They'll know everything. We cannot put our data in the hands of those who previously enslaved us, colonized us, and are talking about recolonizing us. We'd have to be off our rocker. to want to do something like that. And some of our people are off their rocker. Rise up, Victoria, sister said, don't forget Jean Dessalines of Haiti. Yes, we can't forget Dessalines, Cecile Fatima. Who else we got? Cecile Fatima, Dessalines, Toussaint Overture. Oh, so many great Haitian revolutionaries. You're right. We cannot forget them at all. Okay, family, I'm going to have to leave it there now. We are 1 minute away from the top of the hour. Unfortunately, our brother wasn't able to log back in. He was clearly having some internet issues. For a change, it wasn't me. Normally, it's me. But this time, it wasn't me because I managed to squeeze through. So thank you so much for staying with me throughout the evening. Thank you so much for the support that you're showing this channel. Please share the link. Please spread the word and do get a copy of the Imperialist Charter, because we need to rewrite and write our own charter as a people. And I welcome your ideas and suggestions as to what needs to be in our own charter. As I said, thank you so much for being with me today. Do join me on Patreon. Thank you for joining me on the Sister Shanice Show live. And all being well, I will be black next strong. Sister Shanice out of here for now. Bye for now. Stay strong and powerful, family. Have a great strong.